This course is about digital signal processing. Course prerequisite for DSP is signals and systems. You are already acquainted with signals and systems in S4. Next, course overview. Module 1 introduces the concepts of DFT, discrete Fourier transform. Module 2 deals with FFT algorithms. Module 3 is about design of FAR filters. Module 4 covers design of IAR filters. Module 5 describes a realization of IAR and FAR filters and also introduces DSP processors. Module 6 explains multi-rate signal processing and analyzes finite word length effects in DSP systems. And then next, the books to consult are Discrete Time Signal Processing by Oppenheim and Digital Signal Processing by Priakis. First lecture is Introduction of Digital Signal Processing. First of all, we have to understand the individual terms of digital signal processing. First, we will try look into what is a signal. Examples of signals that we encounter frequently are speech, music, picture, and video signals. Signals play an important role in our life because signals carry information. The formal definition of a signal is a function of one or more independent variables. The independent variables can be time, distance, position, temperature, pressure, etc. For example, a speech and music signals represents air pressure as a function of time. Here time is a independent variable and air pressure is a dependent variable. Also a black and white picture is a representation of light intensity as a function of two spatial coordinates. So the two spatial coordinates are the two independent variables and light intensity is a dependent variable. Next, types of signals. Signals can be classified as natural and synthetic signals. Most signals we encounter are generated by natural means, but a signal can also be generated synthetically or by computer simulation. Natural signals include speech signals, signals produced by a brain and heart, signals from earthquakes and volcanoes, lightnings, room temperature, atmospheric pressure, etc. Synthetic or man-made signals include radio, TV and telephone signals, music signals, ECGs, X-rays, MRI, etc. Based on the number of independent variables, signals can also be classified as one-dimensional signals, two-dimensional signals and multi-dimensional signals. A one-dimensional signal is a function of a single independent variable. For example, speech signal is a one-dimensional signal with one independent variable, that is a time. And two-dimensional signal is a function of two independent variables. Image signal such as a photograph is a two-dimensional signal where the two independent variables are spatial coordinates. And a multi-dimensional signal is a function of more than two independent variables. For example, black and white video signal is a three-dimensional signal where the independent variables are two spatial variables and time. Signals are again classified as continuous time and discrete time signals. The independent variable may be either continuous or discrete. If the independent variable is continuous, a signal is called a continuous time signal. That is, a continuous time signal is defined at every instant of time. If the independent variable is discrete, the signal is called a discrete time signal. A discrete time signal is defined at discrete instance of time. Here you can see a continuous time signal Xi of t. From Xi of t, you can obtain the corresponding discrete time signal by periodically selecting some samples of CT signal at a uniform time interval. And this uniform time interval is called sampling period and it is denoted as t. The reciprocal of a sampling period t is called a sampling frequency, that is Fs is equal to 1 by t. Here you can notice that the x-axis or the time axis of CT signal is continuous. But for DT signal, the x-axis or the time axis is not continuous, it is discretized at discrete instance of time. But for both CT signal and DT signal, the y-axis or the amplitude is continuous. For CT signal, amplitude is continuous, and for also the DT signal, the amplitude is continuous. Hence, these both signals are analog signals. For analog signals, the amplitude is continuous. Here, for both CT signal and DT signal, amplitude is continuous, hence both are analog signals. That is, DT signal, that is discrete time signal, is still analog. It is not a digital signal. The discrete time signal can be converted to a digital signal after passing through a analog to digital converter. So, a discrete time signal can be converted to digital signal by passing through a analog to digital converter. Next, what is signal processing or why signal processing? Signals carry information, and the objective of a signal processing is to extract information carried by the signal or to obtain the signal in a more desired form. Thus, roughly speaking, signal processing is concerned with the mathematical representation of signal and the algorithmic operations carried out on it to extract the information present. Example, noise filtering of a signal is an example for signal processing. So, signal processing can be done in two ways: analog signal processing and digital signal processing. In analog signal processing, the signals are not converted into digital domain. The processing is done in analog domain itself. But in digital signal processing, the analog signals are converted to digital signals because most of the signals are analog in nature. So in DSP, analog signals are first converted to digital signals, then process them in digital domain. After processing, they are converted back to analog domain. In ASP, that is analog signal processing, dominated prior to 1970s. After 1970s, because of the easy availability of digital hardware and IC chips at a very low cost, DSP got boosted up. Here you can see a DSP system. Here is analog input. It is given to a sample and hold circuit. Here we have sample and hold circuit which samples the data and holds it for some time so that it can be converted to a digital form, because conversion from analog to digital requires time, and during that time the signal must be held constant. Then after analog to digital conversion, we get binary coded digital signal which is then processed by a digital processor. The basic operations of digital processors are addition, multiplication, that is also a repeated addition, and recalling of past signals through delays. Then the output of digital signal processor is given to a DAC, digital to analog converter. So digital to analog converter converts a digital signal back to analog form. To remove the high frequencies present on the signal, analog low pass filter is used. Here you can see the useful analog output, and for example, it can be a piece of music filtered from surrounding noise. Why DSP, or the advantages of digital signal processing? First one, DSPs are less sensitive to component tolerances and environmental changes. In ASP, analog signal processing, change in any element, that is inductance or capacitance, or a small shift in power supply causes a change in performance. In DSP, accuracy can be increased almost indefinitely by increasing the word length, that is a number of bits. By increasing the number of bits, accuracy can be increased, but cost also increases as number of bits increases. DSP allows volume production without the need for adjustment during production. Once a process is set, nothing has to be changed. DSPs are amenable to full integration. This is not possible for ASP because of inductances and transformers. Transformers cannot be made into an integrated chip but same as for inductors of respectable values like microhenry, millihenry. For ASPs, dynamic range is limited by power supply. For op-amp, output cannot exceed plus VCC and minus VCC. It gets saturated. In DSP, since we are handling numbers, there is no question of saturation. Same DSP processor can do operations on different signals. For example, if one signal is signal exists at 0, 2 microseconds, 4 microseconds, 6 microseconds, like then another signal placed at 1 microsecond, 3 microsecond, and 5 microsecond, then the same DSP processor can operate on both the signals. Thus, time multiplexing is one of the great advantages of DSP. You cannot do it with ASP. DSPs can be very easily adjusted for different characteristics by simply changing some numbers of coefficients. This can also be done in ASP by varying a resistor, capacitor or inductor, but changing a number is much simpler. Changing an inductance in ASP is a difficult process. Dominant advantage of DSP is exact linear phase can be obtained, which is not possible with ASP. Exact linear phase means there is no delay distortion. Next is multi-rate signal processing. That is, different parts of DSP can work at different sampling rates. Sampling rate can be different in different parts of the processor. You can sample up and sample down without any problem. This is not possible in ASP. Next, no loading problem due to cascading. When two amplifiers are cascaded, in practice one amplifier loads other. When you put a loudspeaker at the output of a power amplifier, if not perfectly matched, power amplifier output goes down. No such problem in cascading digital circuits. Digital signals can be easily stored in magnetic tapes, disks for as long as one likes. And also very low frequency processing is possible with ease in DSP. In ASP, inductors poses a problem with very low frequency processing. Next, disadvantages of digital signal processing. First one, increased complexity. You have to use more devices, sample and hold, analog to digital converter, digital to analog converter, low pass filter, etc. Then major disadvantages of frequency range for operation of DSP is limited due to limited rate at which you can sample and hold. And also analog to digital conversion speed is limited for DSP. And power dissipation for DSP is also more because more power is drawn due to a large number of transistors in DSP. Next, applications of DSP. DSP plays a vital role in almost every field of science and technology. Some of the applications include first one, biomedical applications, ECG, EEG, X-ray, MRI, etc. Then speech processing, speech compression, decompression, speech recognition, speech synthesis, etc. Then audio and video equipments to design systems for special effects in audio systems, music synthesis and composing, audio and video compression. And then in communication, echo and noise cancellation, analysis of radar signal, telephone signal, TV signal, etc. And then in image processing, image compression and decompression, image recognition, filtering on images, and then in geology, for example, study of seismic signals, and in astronomy, analysis of images of various celestial bodies, etc. So in this lecture, we talked about course contents, books for reference, definition of signals, types of signals, and what is signal processing, analog signal processing and digital signal processing, need of digital signal processing, and then applications of DSP.